everyone, thanks for joining us on this session. It's going to be just a quick one really. We just wanted to take a little bit of time and share what we'd found out about digital carbon. We've been doing some work on this ourselves, and in the interest of sort of sharing knowledge, I know a lot of people were interested in this, so we thought we'd put together just a really short session looking in particular at emails. So I'm going to hand over now to our sustainability coordinator, Ruth.
Okay, thanks, Rachel. So hi, everybody. Thank you for tuning into this mini session on digital carbon footprinting. So for those who don't know me, I'm the sustainability coordinator here at Blooloop. And for the past couple of years, we've been looking at researching and understanding digital carbon footprints. And really, there's a few reasons behind this. The first one, and probably the most obvious one, is that we are a digital company. So almost everything we do is in a digital capacity. And this meant that actually achieving carbon neutral status was quite easy for us because it only requires you to measure and report on your scope 1 and 2 emissions, and that's very, very small for us. We also found that when we started looking into our scope 3, it was actually a real struggle to find any clear information on digital carbon footprinting. And that actually it's a massive part of the kind of global carbon problem. So estimates actually indicate that the internet is responsible for approximately 1 billion tons of greenhouse gas emissions per year. And this is rising all the time. It's actually the equivalent to the aviation industry. So we thought it was something that we really couldn't and shouldn't ignore. And finally, we found that even for those of us who like to think we're quite clued up on carbon accounting, it actually felt really complicated. So we thought we'd share a bit about it today. So after spending a lot of time reading and learning about all this, like I said, we thought we'd put together a series of sessions on understanding and reducing digital carbon footprints. And today we're starting with emails. So we all receive and send them. We probably don't think too much more about them than that, but actually they have a surprisingly large carbon footprint. And the first thing that really surprised us about this was the amount of carbon unnecessary emails that cost the amount of carbon that these unnecessary emails actually cost us. So looking at this list, I know I've probably sent almost all of these emails in the past. I'm sure you have too. But it's really unnecessary and it actually has quite a big impact. So research found that if everybody in the UK sent one less of these unnecessary emails a day, we'd save more than 16,500 tons of carbon a year. And for some context, that's the same as taking about 3,500 diesel cars off the road each year. The second impact I wanted to highlight was the storage of emails. So, of course, the carbon cost of emails varies massively based on the devices we use, the infrastructure that is around the world that helps us store and access this information, and the sources of electricity that these data centers are powered by. But storing them does have an impact. So the average email user actually has around 10,000 emails in their inbox. And even though it's a small amount of carbon that's used, it's still a small amount of carbon that you don't need to be using. So it's something to keep in mind. And the third thing that we hadn't really considered before, and something that we're hoping you'll actually all help us with, is the impact that images in email signatures can have on the climate. So with the carbon cost of emails ranging from 0.3 of a gram all the way up to 50, sending images in our email signatures was something that we at Blooloop stopped doing last year. And just to show you an example of what that looks like, some of you probably remember these. This is our email footer advertising greenloop last year, and some social image links. And we actually swapped those graphics out last year for this. A couple of sentences with our social links, a bit of information about why we've made the change. And we found a really nice response actually in the industry. We had people asking us about it, asking for more information, and commenting how nice it was to see that we were pointing out something that a lot of people just didn't think about. And I'm pleased to say actually that replacing these images saved the Blooloop team more than 35 kilograms of carbon in the last year. And it's small, but it's something, and it's something that none of us really miss. So what can you do now? So we've spoken a lot over the last 2 days about how slowing, stopping, and reversing the impacts of climate change requires this collective action. But on an individual level, a lot of these solutions are quite time-consuming and quite expensive. But that's why we're hoping you'll join us in taking one small and simple action, which is to remove these images from your email signatures. We actually estimate that if everybody that attends this conference today and yesterday joined us and did this action, collectively we'd save more than 2 tons of carbon by greenloop next year. And it's really easy to feel helpless when thinking about climate change, but that's something that you can all really easily do right now, and we can save 2 tons of carbon by next year. And if you actually wanted to take this further, think about how much more we could save if you took your companies along with you and you did it in your organizations. We're a small company, there's only 6 or 7 of us, but we save 35 kilograms of carbon. What about those of you who work for companies that have 200 employees or 2,000 employees? So it's something that could make, hopefully quite a big impact. And I hope this has been helpful. I know it's really short, but hopefully it's inspired some of you to ditch these signature images. If you're keen to join us in making this small change, please do pop me a mail and let me know, so I can help you work out exactly how much carbon your actions will save. We're going to be running these series of sessions throughout the year, so please do come along and find out more about what we're doing and what you can do. But other areas we're going to talk about include measuring, reducing the carbon footprint of websites, tracking carbon and the cost of online events such as Greenloop and the Festival of Innovation, and looking at ways to reduce the impact of our content and newsletters. So send us a message on the event platform, join us in the networking lounge after this session, or get in touch via email, and we really hope you'll join us.
That's great. Thanks, Ruth, for that. So just a really little quick session for everybody. We just thought, in the interest of kind of sharing information, we just share the knowledge we got. And it'd be really fun if you could decide that you're going to do this. We'd really love it if you got in touch with us, if you can email Ruth and let her know what we're doing, and we'll let you know what metrics we need from you, which are very simple numbers, and we can add it up for next year. So wouldn't it be fantastic if we report next year that, I don't know, we got how many tons of carbon we can all save together just by doing something. It's not even stopping doing something, it's just not putting it on in the first place, not putting a graphic on in the first place that nobody's going to miss. So that's great. So if you've got any questions, I'm just looking here to see if there are any. You can put them in here, or we're going to be in the networking lounge next just for 15 minutes. So if you want to come and chat to us. But do get in touch with Ruth and let her know if you want to join us. I'll just see one question. So have we looked at the carbon footprint of our website? That's part of what we're doing. We've signed up to, I always get this wrong, with the UNFCCC.
Yep.
C? 3 Cs. 3 Cs. We've signed up to the net zero pledge. So we've worked out our baseline just about now. And we're coming up with our plan. I think we can do a white paper, which I think we'll probably share about how we're going to kind of reduce and what our plans are. I think it is really important to be transparent, and the reason we really wanted to look at digital carbon is something that Ruth alluded to, is because it's something we can actually take action on ourselves. So we didn't want to basically use any kind of overall estimates. We wanted to actually break it down and really look into some detail with it, so we can actually kind of work out how to make changes. So, we've got 50,000 pages on our website. It's absolutely huge for us, so it's something that we can really make a difference with. So we're looking at it, and we're happy to share when we're ready. Hopefully in a few months, we're ready to share what we found, and we're ready to share with you some ideas about how to reduce that. Here we go. Another question: is spam an issue for carbon footprint? It is actually. Spammy emails are an issue. Yep.
Yeah. Sorry, Rachel. So spam emails, actually, when we looked at this, we found that spam emails, I think on average, they account for more than half of an average inbox. I know I find that spam's a big issue for me. So like we said, clearing out your inboxes of those spam emails, not subscribing to them in the first place. When you go onto a website and it asks you to put in your email address, if you don't want to receive that email, don't put it in. And just generally making those small steps and making sure that your mailing lists are actually who want to receive your emails. There's no sense sending emails to people that aren't going to read them. So, increase your click-through rates on your mail lists, increase your engagement rating, and drop down those email addresses that are never opening your emails.
Yeah, and I think we've got another question: is receiving emails an issue? Yes, it is. Like, everything that goes into your inbox is an issue. Yes. I think. Sorry, you can, Ruth. You can say anything else.
I was going to say, so the way that this works is through it's a little bit more complicated than driving cars or anything like that, because it's all digital and out there. But the way that this email system works and the way that it uses carbon is through actually like I said, the data centers, the devices, the storage in the cloud, these all the power used to generate and have this energy, that's what causes the carbon. So receiving emails is still a problem, but it's very small compared to the size of the email that you're receiving and sending, and the amount of emails that you're storing and having to load up, and the amount of emails that your computer is having to show you. So if that makes sense. So receiving them is very tiny, but receiving loads of emails with massive email footers is a much bigger part of it, I would say.
And that you keep in your inbox as well,
Yeah.
isn't it? So it's about receiving them, storing them, sending them. It is a lot more complicated than that. So that's why we just wanted to start off with like a really small action that we can all do, I think. Yeah, so that's great. So if there are no more questions, we're going to head over now to the networking lounge. And if anyone wants to join us and chat digital carbon, we'd be happy to talk to you. And I should say that we don't think we're experts in this at all. So if anybody knows more about this than us, then please do do come and tell us. But yeah, we'd love you to join us in this action. I think it's easy to feel really helpless about climate change. I really wanted to do something with the conference, to have something that we could all just do really easily and just see if we can make a big impact together. So please join us, please contact Ruth. And if you'd like to join us in the networking lounge, see you in a minute.
Thanks.